After a full day of driving, we arrive in Columbus, Ohio, our first stop. I want to introduce you to thω and her 4 children.
When did you guys move in here?
About 4 months ago. Yeah. Went through divorce, and so, you know, I have to live on a single mom income, and this is what I can afford. I had to be realistic about it.
What kind of neighborhood is it?
We're on the cusp of kind of affluent people, and then the ghetto, the hood. You know, we're just a good family, and a lot of the people that live in this neighborhood are just good families that are just trying to make it. We're just trying to pay the rent, families. You know? Yeah, we're poor families. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with being poor. We're honest. That's what's important.
All the rich people are selfish.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I would say it tends to lean that way when you have too much.
All they care about is their money and themselves.
That's true. But we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because we're poor.
He owns it proudly.
Hey, so guys, tell me about what election day was like.
The shortest I heard about that day was 2 hours. That was the shortest from anybody in my neighborhood at that time.
What do you mean 2 hours?
2 hour wait. That's the shortest amount of time I heard of anybody getting through the polls.
And how long did you have to wait?
I waited 6 hours. But then by the time I got up to the voting booth, they told me to stop, and then I wasn't allowed to bring my daughter in with me. They said, well, you're not allowed to have anybody in the booth with you because they'll influence your vote. I said, how is my 3-year-old going to influence my vote? I don't understand that. And they said, well, those are the rules, so we have to enforce the rules for everybody across the board. I had 2 choices, either go home or, you know, figure something out. I couldn't let my 3-year-old run around, so I just held her by her hand and just stretched my body as long as I could so I could reach the voting booth, you know, and push the buttons with this, and had this hand out the curtain holding onto her hand. So she was literally outside the curtain. I was following their rules, but I wasn't letting go of her. And it was just ridiculous. It's America, and it shouldn't be that hard to vote. You know what I mean? It's not like we're Iraq. It's not like we are risking life and limb to vote. You know, I mean, I tried to walk away from it and say to myself, well, you know, 6 hours in a line and a little frustration at the end compared to worried about being killed, you know. I mean, I tried to... But at the same time, this is America, and I shouldn't have to think that way. I shouldn't have to excuse an election process.
So how do you feel that a lot of moms stay home because, or actually don't?
A lot of moms don't vote because they can't afford to. They can't. They don't have anybody to watch the kids, you know, or they can't take the kids with them, or they can't afford to take the time off of work.
Everywhere around Columbus, Ohio, we hear stories about long lines and strange rules on election day. And you know, Oprah, it does seem like an odd coincidence that these problems mostly occur in poor neighborhoods. For years there have been stories about how Republicans are trying to make voting more difficult for people in the areas where there are many potential Democratic voters. That evening we meet thω's new boyfriend, Trent.
Somebody asked me if I voted for president. I said no, and they said, why not? I said I didn't want one. A president, I mean, I didn't want one, so I didn't vote for one. My opinions on the matter are just, you know, pretty cut and dry. I don't believe in it. I don't think that the election process is fair or honest.
I guess I'm more of a romantic, and I hold out hope that, you know, somehow, somewhere the people are gonna figure it out, come together and demand change,
but
you know?
The vote won't affect that. Voting won't affect that. Something else will. And I'm with you there, sister. I'm totally with you. But voting itself is ridiculous. It's laughable. It's like going into a burning building to try and put it out and just by peeing on it. You can't do anything when you're in there because it's fixed. It's rigged. It's rigged.